And ladies and gentlemen, we are back and we are not better than ever. Tyler is because he had a very good picking week last week. I am not. I am very sick. Caught a nasty cold in Philadelphia. I should never have gone into the city. I had a wedding on the outside of the city. Should have
You're
stayed in my
just gonna
wedding
beat
inside.
that into the ground, aren't you? You
Well, I
this
can
is the
hardly hear.
happiest
I got
day. No,
fluid in
this
my
is the
ear.
happiest you have ever been to be sick because you're thinking the whole time, "Yes, I get to rub it in Tyler's face. Yeah, Philadelphia, bad."
Anyhow,
That's
so we
all
got
that
some
is.
good games for us to pick today. We're going to be going Ole Miss at Georgia.
Yep,
Probably game of the week if I had to guess.
right,
Then a
big time.
classic, a matchup that is stood the test of time, USC Notre
Big time.
Dame. We got Tennessee Alabama, another classic matchup. And then the Holy War. I mean, Wes, poof, we got games for you.
We
All right.
do. Alright, am I going into it? Is that what I'm doing?
I
Okay.
think so.
Alright, let's talk some Ole Miss at Georgia, Kevin. This is going to be a fun one to watch. I'm not gonna lie to you, Kev. When I first saw this line, I thought it said Ole Miss minus 7.5, and I was willing to accept that.
That's crazy. But
Yes. I
um
look, I'm just watching the way that both of these teams are playing. And I don't know, maybe it's recency bias playing a little bit of like banging the drums in my mind somehow, but I just think that Ole Miss is more rounded of a team this season. I know Washington State, they didn't come out looking too hot in that last week victory, which, they were what, a 20-point favorite, and they beat them by only 3 points, right? 24-21. Um,
mhm.
but I think the key to watch here is going to be that Kwan Lacey is just going to be running around the field too much for Georgia's defense to keep up with them. I don't know if you got another beat on this game, but that seems to me like what it's going to come down to.
So this and first, I believe they were like a 30-something point favorite against Washington State, but that does
Yeah,
play into
probably.
one. This is literally the one piece of research I did for this week. The one stat I have
Right.
for you. Since the start of the 2024 season, Ole Miss is 6-0 following a one-score game, win or lose. Okay, so when they get punched in the mouth, whether or not they come out on top or they suffer a close loss, they come back and they win 6 out of 6 times. All right. Georgia, on the other hand, because Georgia, it wasn't a one-score game. It was 20-10, as you can see there on the screen. So I looked since the start of the 2024 season. Georgia, following games that are 10 points or less in the margin of victory, either way, they're only 4-3. And now they are 12-1 otherwise. So if they're coming off a big win, 12-1. If they're coming off a game that was even remotely close, 4-3. That's nothing to tut about. But the other read I'm having on this, and this is just a bad vibe I'm getting as somebody who is truthfully going to be rooting for Ole Miss because we've liked their story so far. Ole Miss, are they Oklahoma just a week later? I mean, they've not had a true road test. Their offense has been good, but it has struggled. I mean, it struggled last week. It struggled against against I guess number 10 LSU, 24
Right.
points. All they got 24 points against LSU and Washington State. Their only road game was at
Now, wait, was
Kentucky,
that game at
and it
home
was
or not? I can't
30-23.
remember.
That game, they traveled to Kentucky. That's their only other road game of the season. 30-23, they beat Kentucky.
And they failed to cover
Geor-
in that. And I remember because Lane Kiffin got on my bad side after that. Yeah. Um,
and Georgia's
and that,
not a place you want to walk into unexperienced. But yes, I do remember Lane Kiffin mocked us for betting them to cover.
it,
But
yeah. All right. Let me take it back from you for 1 second, Kev. These two teams played in 2024. You remember what the result of that was?
I believe it was 28-10.
That's right. Ole Miss
Hell
came
yeah.
out on top. Now, talking about
Did they play in
Mr. Lane,
2023?
they did.
And was that score 52-17? That is a fair
I don't
point
know,
to
Kev. I
make,
don't have
but
that written down here. Thank you very
I'm
much.
pretty sure if I'm remembering, but yeah.
Okay. No. Wait. What
That
I'm meaning to
man.
say here, back into my stats. Thank you very much. What I am meaning to say here is that when these two teams do play Sorry, I got muted there. The spread gets blown out of the water when they meet. So it's going to be one team is taking it one way or the other. Now, since 2020, when Lane Kiffin took over uh, at Ole Miss as an away favorite. Oh, wait, they're an underdog. That's why this stat is not going to be correct. Damn it. All
I
right.
want to hear it. I want to hear what you had to say.
Well, as an away favorite, they are 9-5-2 against the spread in that regard. But this is why you print out the stats, people, so you can just reference them back. Wait, no, that's not for the against the spread stats. Okay, never mind. Kev, you talk about your pick while I look this up again.
All right, and this is one, and I hate to also Tyler went away there. Yeah, I hate to say it, but I'm picking with my heart, not my head here. I do think, I mean, Kirby Smart is Kirby Smart. He's going to have his boys tortured this week. They are not going to want to disappoint him again. The reason I felt kind of comfortable is because it was 7.5 points. Like, I could still be right, and Kirby Smart could have still, terrorized his team into success this week. So that's all I got to say. Not super confident about it, but boy, I really have enjoyed watching Ole Miss this year.
Oh, no, Kev. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Right, bro.
Okay, so let me get into my pick, and then I'll tell you why I'm saying ruh-roh. Yeah, I'm taking Ole Miss based on, like, honestly, just the vibes of what I've been seeing from them this season. And I think, I'm a person who believes in karma. I think it's going to come for Kirby Smart for that nonsense that happened with Auburn with the timeout. No, why are you clapping for me? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do next time I go to a concert. I'm just going to do this the whole time. Now, okay, the ruh-roh there was, I said the spread as if they were the away favorite is 9-5-1. When they are an away underdog since 2020, they are 2-4-0. But stats mean nothing, right, Kev?
Especially stats from last year.
That don't agree with the point I am making.
Don't agree with the point with my preconceived bias. Yes,
That's
Tyler,
right.
you are dead right. Let's get into this game. All right.
Historic.
Now,
Historic.
I just want to, and I did not write this down, so this is going to not be great. But do you remember the 2005 match between these two teams?
Not at all, Kev.
All right. That was when, I don't know if you're familiar with the Bush Push. Ever heard of it? The Bush Push?
Veto, but keep talking.
The Bush Push. That was when it was, I believe the score was 28-31 with time running out. No, it was 27-31. USC was about to lose. The reason this was so important was because if USC lost, the Hokies were probably going to move into that number 2 spot in the BCS rankings. USC, they have it 4th and goal at the 1. They get stopped, but Reggie Bush puts his hands on Matt Liner's tuchus and pushes him in.
My God, that was the Matt Leinart years. Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Matt Lionheart Liner. That the Bush Push. This game is I hate when I know some people are saying like, oh, like, Notre Dame's ranked too high, but I love this game when both these teams are ranked, when it means something, because we went through a long stretch where USC was irrelevant. We went through a long stretch where USC was dominant. Both these teams, Notre Dame, every game's a playoff game. And USC only has one loss, and it was by 2 points on the road to Illinois. So
exactly.
Yeah.
And, hey, Illinois has those 2 tough matchups that are going to be stands on their records. But I do still think even when I was watching them in that Ohio State game, I liked what I saw. I think Luke Altmaier, if he didn't have the stains on his resume, could potentially be a Heisman contender. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen with those losses. I just like his playmaking ability and his instincts. That being said, I think that USC winning last week in the fashion that they did to get back into the top 20 was probably the best thing that could have happened to Notre Dame because Now they actually have a game on their schedule. Looking at it through the rest of the season, everybody, if they make it to the CFP and USC isn't ranked here, they're going to have every hater on them. You know what I mean? Because they wouldn't have anything to back it up. Now they got something to back it up. But I mean, 9.5 points, man. I don't know who's making these lines, but I just do not see it. So, okay, Kev, let's just talk about it.
And
Because once again, Kev, and this is
wow,
gonna get,
wow, with the
this is
same
gonna get,
confidence level. Oof.
yeah.
Okay.
Look, I think we can both just freestyle agree. 9.5 points. It's too much based on how they're both playing right now, and especially the fact that you add in the historic rivalry. I think Lincoln Riley is going to be having his guys like coming to show up, and they're going to be amped up after that that Michigan win
Yeah.
big time. Michigan, I think, has kind
It
of
was like
been
31-13. They won by a
yeah.
lot again. That
They
was
they they were exposed a little bit, and I'm going to talk about
yeah.
that a little bit
I
later. But
just
go ahead.
to add some stats to back our pick, and then we can move on if you'd
Yeah,
like. USC
This is a
passes the
very
ball.
stat like lukewarm episode. Yeah,
Yeah, we did not have the time we usually do to do research and
yeah.
to um yeah,
But we're
obsess.
still recording, and we're still going to put it out.
We're still gonna put it out. Yeah, USC passes the ball well. You can just look at those three games there on the screen. Notre Dame, I mean, they give up 360 to Texas A&M. They let Miami go for over 200. They let Boise State in a game that they won 28-7. They still let Boise State pass on. I think this game could be a shootout, but with that over under 61.5, I'll tell you, partner, I was almost ready to bet the under because
Uh-huh.
both of these teams do not, and I'm judging this on the PFF rankings, but they do not have the best pass block. It's actually both of their second worst PFF ranking. USC 69 pass block, Notre Dame 64 pass block, but they both have very good coverage, and actually they both have kind of bad pass rush. But I think I like to see this one be sloppy and be around this tune of like, oh, give me 31-27
Uh,
USC.
And Kev, I got to be honest. What I was doing just there was because we're so stat low on this episode. I was looking for confirming bias to see because I have them printed out here in a last ditch effort to make it look like we know what we're talking about. That being said, I am kind of saying that this is going to be a game that is played on the ground very heavily based on the rush production on both of these guys' offense. That being said, neither of these teams is actually really blowing up the pages when it comes to the statistics right now.
Nice.
So wait, no, I stand corrected. USC is ranked number 1 overall points per game.
You
Yeah.
said what? Okay.
Yeah. Points per game. USC 45.5. Number 1 in the
Dang, I
country.
guess I feel like I did them dirty with the three games I featured there on the slide because they didn't break 34 in those games. So
This is the
um,
first time you've pointed this out to me where the stats I have are like don't seem to make sense with what we have on the board. So I'm going to look in the teamrankings.com and making sure they're on top of their stuff. Maybe my sources are fugly, but it is what it is. Okay, so yeah, me and Kev are on the same side again. We're just taking what we saw last week and hoping it's going to carry into this week. Okay. What do
this
we
is
got?
scary.
Yep.
Oof. I mean, if you had asked me over the summer, October 18th weekend, is that like a big rivalry weekend or something? I would have said no. I don't think so. I believe
Right.
they usually come at the end of the season around Thanksgiving. But man, we got another good one here, and
We do. We do.
we got a game that was stale for quite some time. I think Alabama got like 14 or 15 wins in
Yep.
a row on Tennessee, but
Then it was
when
Saban's
Tennessee
last year, right?
yeah, when that
Right.
that
Yeah.
knuckleball of that kick went
Yeah.
through the uprights
Oh, that was
and
beautiful.
Tennessee won it 44-41 perhaps. Yeah, wait, was that I think they won that game 44-41, which is crazy because that's what they lost to Georgia by. Maybe I'm wrong there,
All
but
right, take a quick break to look that up, Kev, because
yeah, you
I
go.
want to talk. I just need to continue to emphasize, when I was watching the Alabama game last week, they both, or no, I'm sorry, Alabama just, it seemed like every play there was somebody else that was getting the ball. Like there were like 20 different weapons that they had. It was beautiful to watch, and I really have to give Kalen DeBoer credit for what he's been doing so far this season. He is taking what everybody thought was a collapsing empire at the start and has really like kind of changed it to what we thought an SEC team could be, and really introduced that West Coast style to it. Kev, did you find the score you were looking for?
Yes, it was 52-49. I'm sorry, guys. I'm an
Okay.
idiot.
All right, Kev,
Yeah.
you want it?
Let's see. Not really. To be honest, I feel like I haven't watched much of Tennessee this year. So if you reveal my
I
pick,
watched Tennessee's first game against Syracuse that made me think
yes.
Syracuse might have something in the tank because they didn't lose by that much. And
Which
then
Syracuse did
won,
until they lost their QB. So you're not wrong
and lost the Duke kind of. Yeah.
without their
And then
QB.
we also did watch them in the Georgia game when they only lost because of that kicker. So
True. And here's
yeah.
you can go ahead and click my pick here if you want. But
And
what
I'm
I'm
gonna have to do it
thinking,
for both of us again, Kevin.
wow, man. But
I know.
honestly, how cool is that background there? That's most of the reason
That was
why I
good.
kept
That
my
was good.
pick.
I
Um,
love the checkered flags. I really do.
yeah. Then, and here's what I'll say. Last week against Missouri, what Alabama and Missouri was last week was two really good teams, really talented teams. One of them was more battle tested than the other. Okay. Now it can go either way. You can either, you're either a more battle tested team and that like experience gets you the win, or at a certain point, and this is my theory here with this pick, you get wear and tear. And
Yep.
another close, hard fought victory for Alabama. And now they're getting, they get everyone's best shot, even when they like weren't even doing that good. Georgia wanted to give them their best shot because Georgia saw it as their opportunity to beat them. They've been
Right.
getting, I mean, they've been rising to the occasion each week, but it's been close.
Exactly.
So who's to say
And there's
Tennessee can't either win or lose by less than 7?
Yeah, exactly. And it's everything you just said. I mean, I'm just looking at it from a macro standpoint. Tennessee does stay in the games, and Alabama with Mizzou kept it within the 3 points, right? And then we don't have that. That's fine. And then with the Vanderbilt, that game, that's garbage time points, as we both know. That game was a lot closer than that score shows.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, the only
but
reason I didn't
quiet on
put
my
that
toes.
Missouri game on there is because it was a road game for Alabama, and the other two were road games. This is at home,
Oh,
um,
okay. Kev, I'm
and
gonna
so
be honest, I barely look at the past 3 things you put on there, so that's good to know you're actually that there's some truth and reasoning behind them.
there's some thinking there. And it's
All
good
right,
because if whoever's listening doesn't like what we're saying, which I would not be mad at you if you didn't like what we're saying, you can kind of just zone out for a little bit and read, the nice little things we have here on the slides for you. That's what the point of
right.
these slides are. So,
Yeah, assuming that all of our viewers can read. Now that being said, let's get into it with the Holy War.
ooh,
Do you
I
know
like
what
that.
that is, Kev?
Isn't that is that the trophy for it?
Not so. And the animations that I put in are
Hey, there it goes. Bye
okay,
bye.
but is it gonna work this time? Oh,
Goodbye.
well, you know what? Whatever. Kev,
Wow.
before, and I forgot the colors again, damn it. No, okay, back to
This
what I
doesn't matter.
started with. Beehive boot. Okay. That is the trophy that is shared by the trifecta of the in-state FBS schools. Utah State is somehow also buying for that every year when they're
Is
competing for
Utah
it.
Tech in the race?
Nah, FBS only.
Oh,
Weber State was in it before Utah State. I'll put it to you that way. Um,
okay.
Dude, I just and I only made my pick here to make sure that we were not aligned on every single one. I'll be 100% honest with you. That would have been terrible. We would have lost every pick. I'm hoping this puts some energy out into the universe where now we might go 50-50, who knows. But regardless of how this game goes, I'm just so excited to see like the Utah fans talking all the smack in the world at the stadium, and then the BYU fans just being like, Well, they're pretty mean, man. Like, if
Well,
it's
okay. As somebody who I've been in the belly of the beast, I competed in Provo, Utah at BYU. I competed as a collegiate athlete. That is where the
I know
2000
where you're going with
and
this.
the 2017 National Collegiate Landscaping Competition was. Them BYU folks are they're nasty. They're nice, but they're nasty.
Oh,
And
really?
they're competitors too. I think
I'm what else
us
are you gonna do, you know what I mean?
I mean,
Like
I lost. I lost. I got it was also I mean, just quick story. We as a team, a lot of my landscaping team had not flown before. There's a lot of ag kids from Virginia Tech. We get to our hotel. First thing, let's go get some beer. We don't have to compete till Saturday. It's Thursday night. Let's get some beer. So we go to the Walmart, we get a
Oh,
bunch of beer, we come back and we're going through them, man. I think
yep.
we're going through them and then we're like, what? I feel fine. What's going on? I haven't even texted somebody I regret. Like, what's going on? And yeah, the ABV was like 2.8 or something like that.
Yep,
So it was
that's what they
essentially two
do.
beers to one. And when at this age, at my ripe age of 29 now, I know how bad alcohol can be for you. Like it can really, you're not going to play your best game. You're not going to
No.
cheer your loudest for your team. Actually, no. Strike the last two things I said.
Yeah, right?
Regardless, regardless, this is a great game. This home environment. BYU's won two in a row, I believe.
Yeah.
Won two of these matchups in a row. We kind of this is a sneaky, incredible weekend of college football we have ahead of us. So what you got on this game, Ty?
No, and you're right, it does, and I mean, thank God. I'm gonna be honest with you. I got b-ball to talk about when it comes to the actual play because BYU has been on my list of game like teams that I need to pay more attention to, but I just haven't. And this
Absolutely.
is a sneaky game for contention in the Big 12, even though I know that Texas Tech is probably gonna start running away with it here pretty soon. Yeah, I look, talking myself into why Utah can win by 3.5. I look back to how close they kept it with Texas Tech. Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah,
Did they
no, that
keep it?
stat is correct.
No.
I did.
Okay.
They were only down by three going into the fourth quarter. Or not
Right.
going
Because
into
I
the
thought,
fourth quarter. I believe they scored to bring it within three, and then Texas Tech ran away with it. But
so in that 34-10, that's mostly garbage points I'm seeing, right?
yeah,
Uh,
which is not
Okay.
how I remember the game, truth be told. But yeah,
No,
that is correct.
it isn't either. I remember Texas Tech taking control of it, but I also remember at the beginning of that game, people were making it fly on my desk. I got it. Um, I also remember Devin Dampier. People were having talks about him in the Heisman before that game. You know what I mean? Granted, that was only going into week 4, and that was considered like the Big 12 matchup of the year. I mean, still has some cadence to it. I mean, you know,
Can I actually
but the,
jump in with some stats on this, or do you got more?
we need stats, please.
Okay. And boy, are you going to be disappointed because I don't have hard stats. What I did, I had a long drive on Tuesday. I drove for about an hour and a half. I listened to the Talking Utes podcast. So that's man, I
Oh
don't know if I'm
man.
getting that right. Talking Utes podcast, and I listened to the Locked On BYU podcast. So like, I was like, let me just see what both sides are saying. Both sides are confident in it, and Utah does have reason to. They just whooped up on Arizona State. Um, but I think this is a rivalry game where kind of just whatever is going on in the season goes out the window. With that said,
Yep.
here's what I jotted down. This is what the hardcores are saying. Utah cannot be predictable on offense because BYU will sell. They will put 10 in the box if they think you're going to run. They'll just gamble on it.
Mm-hmm.
That was an interesting thing. And then on BYU's on their offensive side, their offense is going to go through their running back LJ Martin. Um, he, I even the BYU fans weren't super stoked on Bachmeier, which is what like I his stats look fine. I haven't watched the games, but they think if BYU establishes a run game, and this is what the Utah folks said, if BYU establishes a run game, Utah could be in for a long night. Utah likes to blitz like crazy too. So,
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean, you
seeing that.
can see the scenario where Utah is they're getting sacked, they're making mistakes, and they're making turnovers, and BYU's just running it 4 yards at a time, a little screen pat. Like, you could see that going, and having the crowd on their side, because those Mormons will get behind a 4 yards running in a cloud of dust game if it
Are
means
we
they're winning.
allowed to does that come off as offensive? I
What's
saying those Mormons. The
I
the
hope not.
people of the faith of never mind, I'm done.
Latter day. Yeah, I
I'm
don't.
trying not to get canceled again, man. Um, but no, Kev, wait, let me jump in because I've been looking at the
Yes.
stats while you've been talking. This does have the makings of following my rule of 3.5 or less. God bless you. That you should take the under because I'm looking here. BYU has the number 2 opponent interceptions thrown percentage. So to your point about them having that good like pass defense, they're getting on the quarterbacks early. That's going to be good. But then, Utah's got some really good coverage, and the fact that they're ranked number 4 in the country with the opponent pass play percentage being 36.18% of total plays. So,
And I
I,
mean, Utah's got that good offensive line. That's what
right,
we were talking about going into the Texas Tech game. They got a great offensive line. So this is one that anything can happen.
right.
Yeah. Sorry. Keep going on the stats if you got any more.
No, that was really it. I'm just saying if I am allowed, if you'll allow me, I'm going to take the under too.
Okay.
Okay.
Go for it.
Thank you.
Here's the
All
beauty,
right.
dude. If it goes over, we just won't say it. We know the analytics. We know only like our moms are watching right now. They I love my mom. I don't think she knows what an over under means, if I'm being honest.
Me and
So
my stepdad have given my mother extensive well, she's probably tuned it out when the two of us are talking like a couple of chuckleheads. So but yeah, no, this is look, it's the weekend of games where anything can happen and it's a lot of like historic rivalry matchups. So I'm looking forward to it just like I am
yes, sir.
every weekend this far. Um all right. I didn't really do any of this, Kev. Let's just move on to this. Okay. Um, let's talk about our parlays, folks. These are where you can get the most amount of money based on our picks. Like I said, Kev, I didn't really track yours last week, but from my own side, Penn State was all that screwed me up. And well, no, wait, no, I had the fourth leg that was about a professional football team that should not be named until they get back
Yeah.
into my good graces. Um,
That was tough.
that
Late Thursday night, I had to drive over to Tyler's house, break into his garage, and take the hose out of the car. But I'm glad you're still with us, man. Also, what is that Ryder
we're
Cup? Didn't that
definitely
already
getting canceled for that one.
happen? Sorry, sorry,
All right,
folks.
go ahead.
Wait, the Ryder. I'll go into mine, then you can go into yours. And this is
Did I not? Oh, yeah, no, I screwed that up. Okay.
that's fine. But so what I screwed up on similar to how Penn State, catastrophic failure from a marquee program. I picked FSU cover that alternate spread. Otherwise, I believe I was correct. So this week I have UNC's going on the road. They're not great. I don't think they're 2-touchdown loss to Cal bad,
No.
especially because Cal's going to be looking ahead. They have a tough matchup in Blacksburg
Yep.
next weekend.
Big time.
Yeah. And then I got Georgia Tech. This was another one that surprised me. Georgia Tech is I think they're like a 1.5 point. Sorry, no, they're like a
No,
whatever the act.
we're
This
gonna
messed
talk
me up
about that.
last
We're
week.
gonna talk about that. Don't worry. We're gonna
I
talk about that.
confused myself last week trying to figure out. But Georgia Tech, I think they can. I think they can do that against Duke. I think they can cover that. Texas
Yeah.
A&M on the road against Arkansas. I wanted to do 3.5, but we'll see if they can cover
I give
four and a
them.
half.
Yeah, I give them that easy.
That's a pretty low stakes parlay, but my UFC pick last week, again, I was right. Big upset too. That's actually the only reason I have
Man.
balance left in my DraftKings because I parlayed Davison Figueroa and Charles Oliveira getting it done, both underdogs. So we got another great UFC fight night, location-based fight night in Vancouver. Main event. This one's not as big of a surprise pick, but Renier DeRitter is going to take on Brendan Allen. I think he gets it done. He was supposed to fight Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, but he pulled out a few weeks ago. So this is a short notice fight for Brendan Allen. Renier DeRitter has all the momentum. He's just a big guy. He's got that chest that like one of those weird chests that kind of comes out, then goes back
Yeah.
in. Anyhow, go Tyler. You're up.
No, I like that. Okay. So I like South Carolina versus Oklahoma here. And I'm going to talk about this game in a little bit more detail in a second, so I'm not going to spoil that. Ohio State alternate team total 28.5 at Wisconsin. It's going to be bully ball. It seemed like free money to me. And then I took Maryland plus 3.5 at UCLA. I think that the UCLA is riding a little bit high right now, for reasons that look, a coach being fired doesn't magically change you from what you were at the start of the season to what you are playing as right now. I think there are some faux game inspiration going on with UCLA, and there's going to be a comeback down to earth. So that's why I'm taking UMD there. That total parlay will bring you to plus 435. And then I'll get a bonus pick out to you guys. I'll tweet it out or I'll put it in the YouTube comments so that we know what we're dealing with along with the full parlay. Before we go on to my rapid fire, which is going to be the next video we'll make. We'll split it up into 3 this week for you guys. Jared is right now 3-0 in his locks. Okay. There's a reason that we call him the unsung smartest guy involved with this program. And because me and Kevin cannot schedule anything, that's the only reason that he's not yet on this show. But he will be before the end of the season. I guarantee that. His pick for this week is going to be going back to the well, Stephon Diggs receiving yards over 50.5 when the Patriots go into Nashville to play the Titans. That's at -111 odds. All right.